Right, let's find some sheep. That one's 76, so £76, 307. Not worth. Well, yes, but we've got heavier ones, so I'm gonna. Finding male sheep. There's one. That one's 62. We're going to save that one. It's not heavy enough. So yeah, after this first year, our sheep are actually making us multiple streams of income, which is a good thing. That one there. Not that one yet. Well, if worst comes to the worst, we can do that one, but I'm going to try and find all the really well-grown sheep first. Okay, so all the big ones. So, couple at 89 there. Let's sell those 3 anymore. How's our trailer doing? I don't know. That one's 76, 89. Yeah, I guess we'll be moving as many of the 89s as I can. Still had room. There's one there. Nope, that's it. Okay, so that's a good supply of sheeps for sale. So yeah, I used to play Microsoft Flight Sim, and I was flying out of a small airfield in England, and I did have a couple of mods, one for the airfield that I flew out of, and one for the aeroplane I flew. And I used to use Microsoft Flight Sim as a practice for real life learning how to fly. But I kind of stopped playing Microsoft Flight Sim around 2002, which was when I was firmly in the US and not flying anymore because most of the flight schools had gone out of business that I had been using at the time. Combat flight sims I've played at times, but I'm not in the mood to get back into them, sort of thing. And I do know, I mean, the modern flight sims are incredibly realistic, but it's sort of, I don't know. That's interesting. That crop's ready. No, that crop's probably not ready to harvest, but it is very close. Now, harvesting I don't think we can do before late summer, which is when our 2 top fields will be ready to harvest. We should be doing that. There we go. Okay, so Stowe and Gloucester and Cheltenham. A friend of mine comes from Cheltenham. Don't think he lives there anymore. He did a master's degree in biology, and I think he ended up working for the council doing sewage analysis or something like that. Don't know what he does these days, but there we go. Yeah, now I flew the Piper PA-28, which comes in 3 versions. In the UK, I flew the Warrior, which was 140 horsepower. In the US, first flight school I went to, I flew the Cherokee, which I think was 120 horse. And then no, the Warrior's 160, the Cherokee's 140. And then I flew the Archer, which is 180. The Archer was a really nice plane. Much newer than the Warriors and Cherokees I'd flown. As a general thing, I find flying low-wing aeroplanes a lot easier, just because of when you're coming into land and how ground effect works. It's just easier to fly a low-wing plane under those circumstances. I always felt when I had to transition to a Cessna, because the guy who owned the Archer removed permission for the flight school to use it. And flying a Cessna, I always felt like I was having to drive the plane at the ground until it was almost crashing, because you're sitting a good 5-6 feet below your normal seating position in relation to the wings, because the Cessna is a high wing airplane. What am I doing? I'm doing that. Okay, let's unload the sheeps. And 4,000. It's not a lot, but it's something. But the Piper is not a good sightseeing plane because you've got the wings below you. Cessna makes a far more if you're going sightseeing, if you're going to fly and look at the ground and admire the scenery, then a Cessna is the better plane to fly. But my preference is still the Piper. Also, the Piper, you don't have to climb up, perform acrobatics to check the fuel in the tanks, because the tanks are in the wings, and you're actually at eye level. With the Cessna, the filler cap's on the top of the wing, which is 10 feet off the ground, so you've got to perform some acrobatics to hang on as best you can in order to get up there, take the fuel cap so you can actually see inside the fuel level. You always check stuff like that, because just because the fuel indicator says the tank is full doesn't mean it's actually full. It could be stuck, and if you're up in the air and you run out of fuel because you think you've got lots of fuel and you actually don't, that's usually classed as a bad thing, because you are going to be landing somewhere very, very, very quickly. So always check everything. And also a lot of the higher performance aircraft are low wing, multi-engined aircraft, generally low wing. So you will get your transition from a Piper to a high performance or multi-engine aircraft is going to be a lot easier than transitioning from a Cessna. But it's really personal choice. Okay, where are we at? This is the little village of whatever it's called. Coberley? Dude on a skateboard outside. Of course I could go in there, but I'm not going to bother. The other thing I'm really looking at getting back into sometime, hopefully soon, is Elite Dangerous. I haven't played that for a good 3 years. After Horizons came out, I played it for a few months after that, but then I kind of got bored and did other things instead. And now the game has progressed so far. There's a lot for me to learn in that game to get back into the swing of it. And then still playing World of Warships. Which has been amazingly frustrating lately. It feels like more than half the games I play, I'm bottom tier and there's a top tier aircraft carrier and I'm number one target for that top tier aircraft carrier. And so you just get, really, again. On one of the games I played last night, the first game, 2 aircraft carriers. So seriously, no. I do not need this hassle. And of course they both, oh, you're a bottom tier battleship. Well, we're both going to pick on you until you're dead. So yeah, this is not fun. Literally 3 minutes into the game, I was sunk. Because A, they were spotting me, so all of the tier 10 battleships that have a better range than me could hit me, and I couldn't hit them. And then a constant stream of torpedoes from these 2 carriers. So yeah, no, this is not fun. In spite of what Wargaming spreadsheet says, this is not fun. Okay, how are we doing? Oh, too far. Forward a little. So yeah, so you see there, we got the creels, we've got the sticks for the wood, and then the animal trailer bit. Okay, so that's done. It's now 11 o'clock and we still haven't got any work to do. Let's check the job board. I don't have anything better to do, so let's go do that. Where do we go? Look for a red dot, look for a yellow dot. Oh, you have to be zoomed in, of course, as well. So there's a red dot. So we've got to bring it back to the farm. Where are we going? Seven Springs Pub to Hilltop Top Stores. I'm thinking, I didn't want to do that. I'm thinking the pub is that there. Don't think there's any other. And then Hilltop Stores is up at the top behind. Oh no, that's up at the top behind. What's that red dot then? Oh, that's the AGCO. Well, whatever. Okay, so back to the main store. Oops, drive up the... Oh, I did have to leave that gate open. Well, I guess I can go out this way then. I had no idea. I'll shut that now. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, because I was learning to fly single engine, simple aeroplane, that's generally what I flew in a flight sim. Because I was interested in A, seeing how realistic the flight sim was, and B, at least practicing what I was doing in real life as best you can. I mean, I didn't have a throttle control or pedals for the rudder, but as far as everything else was concerned, I mean, it was adequate to practice what you were doing, practice your your slow flight approaches for landing, and because I was using a mod of the airfield I flew out of, I was able to gauge your landing while doing that, and that was a good thing. I never really got into flying the jets or the helicopters or anything else, purely because I was using it almost as an educational tool. But then, flight sims. I used to play Second World War flight sims because small piston engine, high speed, one man flying machines with lots of guns on. A friend of mine also used to play the World War II flight sims, and he was playing one of them. It had a sort of a what if, and introduced planes like the ME-262 and what was it? The British Gloucester Meteor, I believe, and various others, and the early American jets as well. And he said it's really hard to fly those things because okay, what we do with that is we now turn the forks on to reel. Don't do that. That's not what we had planned. No. And he said, he did a strafing run in an early World War II jet, and he completely messed it up and ended up slamming into his target because it's completely different than flying a turboprop. And because you don't have, you're still not very, they weren't very maneuverable in the early days. And on top of that, they were a lot faster than, something like a P-47D, or P-51D. And so he ended up getting himself into a lot of trouble when he was flying jets. He said it's kind of fun, but it's a lot more difficult, so I'm going to stick with the normal planes. Okay, please don't fall off. We have a long way to go. Seriously. Okay then. That might have been my fault. Yeah, I've heard it said that flying a helicopter is like flying a piece of equipment that is forever trying to fly itself into its component pieces. They're not very easy to fly. Okay, 5. I think I completely messed this up, but we will see. This is why Farm Sim Physics sucks. Yay! Okay, that's that one. Let's see if we can go and do the other one. Grief, we're still not out of the parking lot. I may just have to take one crate, then the other one. Go, go, go. Yes. Now, part of the problem here is I have carriage-free forks, which means that they always rest against the frame, but they don't if there's too much, if I push them down into the ground, they will, I think I messed up there. Yep. Let's turn them off. There we go. If I do that, see, they hang loose, so there's no attach point at the bottom. They just swing freely, but it does mean that when you do that and lower them into the ground, the forks are on the ground and are always level when they're on the ground. Anyway, we will lift that up, we will lower that down, we will turn the forks off, drive in there, oops, not that, and push that button, and that's better. Okay, so what I'm doing here, these forks have a collision box that can be turned on and off, which you use when you're using front loader options, or auto load options. So I put that down there, kind of like, let's see, kind of like that, and then I turn the collision box off, and that falls off completely. Good. Now, oops, we'll keep reversing back. Try not to hit the truck. Hopefully we'll do. And then we'll line up on the lower crate. So, turn the collisions off. Now these unfortunately don't count as pallets as far as the CSX mod is concerned. So you do actually have to position things as if you were using normal forks. Now we'll turn the collision on and hitch that back, lift that up a bit. Whatever. Okay, we will take one pallet up to the store and we'll come back for the other one. But I can't use the auto load on, basically, is what I'm saying, on these pallets, because they don't count as pallets. Seriously. That pallet is causing the front end of this tractor to be too heavy. Should I say, that pallet is causing the front end of this tractor to be overly heavy. This is a heavy tractor with wheel weights on the back wheels. That should not be a thing. Yeah, well, then again, these don't count as pallets, so an auto-load trailer may not work with these pallets. These forks are auto-load. I was using them auto-load on the wall pallets and it was having no trouble. But contract transport pallets do not count as pallets for at least the autoloaders I'm using. Don't think I have an autoload trailer loaded on this. I had consideration, but then figured for the most part I can do, you know, log lifting and bale stacking fairly well. So I decided to forego autoloaders. Plus, for FS19, autoloaders are so specific to what you're putting on them. So if I got one of the Caverneland fast baler wrappers in order to make grass silage, that's a problem, because I have my whole setup square bale. So if I had an autoload trailer, I would have a square baler autoload trailer, and I would then have to go and buy a round autoload trailer to support the round bales. FS19, the autoload script, was much more universal in that you could say, yes, I want to autoload round bales, square bales, Heston bales, pallets, and you just tab through a what the heck, dude, really? Why did that fall off? This is not good. I think I done messed up. Oh, I think I done fixed it. Okay. Okay, well, this contract is providing all sorts of fun and games for us. So yeah, these forks all auto-load wool and what's the other stuff they do? Wool and all of the seed and fertilizer pallets and stuff like that. Okay, that's on there. Hitch that back, lift that up, and hope it doesn't fall off. Now this time I've used them as full impact forks, so that pallet was on there just like anything, the normal in-game farm sim pallets. But the advantage is when I get to where I'm going, I can just turn the try not to drop into the river. That would be very, very bad. Should have put the weight on the back, I think. Maybe I'll do that before. Actually, no, I need a second weight up at the farm. So we'll pop by the store and bring one back with us. So here's Hilltop Stores. That's the delivery address. So I can still use the turn off the hitbox, and that will drop free.